All right, JAG University. I'm here with our first intern, Marcus, spearheading the new internship program. Wanted to see real quick, what's your first impression
Of JAG?
of
insurance?
everything? Insurance, JAG, just what comes to mind?
Well, listen, as a guy who's completely new to insurance, I think everything was like a first impression, like the industry itself, the people here. And one thing I realized is insurance is a surprisingly passionate industry that the people actually love what they do. And especially here, where not only like do they love what they do, but everyone like loves each other, right? In a way, it's like a good like family bond. And then, I think that insurance it's a great field. You help a lot of people who really do need to be protected. And this is a kind of a good way to do that. And so, and just that's kind of why I'm here. And I kind of stumbled into JAG, not knowing what to expect. And now I'm on this show.
Yeah, and it's really funny because most people really stumble into this industry in general, right? Most of the people I've met over the years have done something else, and then an opportunity in insurance popped up, and they were like, I'll try it out. And then most of the time, they never even leave because it's always different than what you expect. And we have very similar walks of life. I went to Florida State University. You're currently at Florida State University. I graduated from the risk management insurance program, which I believe right now is the number 5 program in the country, and you're just getting started in there.
Right.
And, a little inside joke we had in that program was the worst thing about a career in insurance is telling people you work in insurance, and everything else is actually pretty awesome. So a lot of times when you come into your first opportunity, it's like you don't really know what to expect. You have the preconceived notions. You've seen a couple State Farm commercials, and you're like, it's a little dorky and boring sounding, but then you actually get into the swing of things and it's like, whoa, this is actually, something that's pretty cool. So what always interesting to me was you go into college and you want to find your passion, you want to find out what interests you, but there's not a ton of discussion on job fit, career fit, what kind of atmosphere you want to be in career-wise. And in insurance, there's actually a lot of different types of environments. And right now, you are in one of the most fast-paced, aggressive, high-stakes environments in the industry. You're on the retail side where we're working in sales. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of deadlines, a lot of expectations. Do you think that this is the type of environment that you like, or do you think you're more tailored towards an analytical side of insurance?
No, I love the fast-paced nature. I love the fact that you need to be on your feet at all times. You need to be able to speak to people, communicate. As someone with the background in communications, I think that the retail side of insurance really resonates with me. And I think also being at JAG, my time here has opened my eyes to a possibility that could come from me starting at 18 years old, being in insurance, just coming into it young and kind of like learning through observing, through mentors and things like that. And then eventually, I'll become acclimated to like the lingo, I'll be acclimated to like how to think insurance, and then it'll translate really well into like me selling. You probably have to edit this part out because I kind of forgot like the end of your question was.
It's like if you see yourself in this type of environment, more sales environment.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I definitely do see myself in a sales environment, and I think being at JAG has really helped like to confirm this idea in my head that I can do this as a career.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think is great about you starting off interning so young is the fact that you start to put this perspective into your head. Most people don't really even think about the type of career environment they want until they're almost done with college. And here you are, you're only 1 year in and you're already starting to nail that down. And it's really going to help you understand what types of opportunities make the most sense for you. So for example, I worked 3.5 years in sort of a middle ground where it was half sales, but it was also very analytical and kind of procedure and building policies. And I ended up transitioning to a more fast-paced retail environment where I felt more at home. And I didn't even necessarily put into scope, hey, like this is where I want to be. This is what fits my personality until I was deeper into my career. So I think the mentorship is really important because it allows you to kind of read between the lines of your opportunities and think, hey, you know what, like, am I good at this? Do I feel comfortable, or does this excite me? And from sitting with you, it's clear that the sales aspect is what excites you.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Sales for me is gonna like motivate me to make more money, try harder, like get more clients. Like just the grind of it is pretty interesting. And actually, kind of one question I have for you as a guy who's been in FSU risk management, you went through the whole program, you've been on the underwriting side, and now you're kind of, you've become full circle. Now you're a producer at JAG. What like components of the FSU risk management do you feel has helped you in underwriting and in producing? Do you think there's like similar like aspects and qualities, or is it kind of like different per what job that you do?
So I think a lot of parts of the program are more useful for different parts of the industry. So part of the program, what you do is you learn how to analyze and go through coverage forms and interpret them. And what happens when you do that is you start to learn how to explain kind of difficult concepts in plain English. Like there's a quote from Albert Einstein that is, if you can't explain it in simple terms, you don't understand it well enough. And I think the program really helps you develop that knowledge that allows you to read complicated insurance verbiage and then translate it into a language that somebody like a business owner or a homeowner will actually be able to understand. And that program allowed me to do that. And also, as you get deeper in, you start to develop your insurance brain. You spoke about that earlier. Is, hey, thinking about this from an insurance standpoint. Something interesting you said to me today was when we were discovering that ART policy and the renter's insurance, and you were starting to frame it with the risks and what can go wrong, and you're already starting to develop that mindset. I think that's a very good head start, and that it's something that really only sitting with us and seeing us talk to our clients and break down our accounts that's the only way you develop it. So I think that the risk management program really does help you build the knowledge to be able to get to a higher level. But I also think that the intern and working experience and the shadowing is what allows you to put it more into practice. And the way I learned insurance was by sitting with people. It's boring and it can be tough and you just want to go. Yeah. But really what it does is you learn how to speak the language and you really learn how to solve problems as they come up, and the attitude that you're going to have to take to deal with problems, because there's always problems and that never stops.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's like funny that you say that the whole shadowing is how you learn, because it really is how you learn. Subconsciously, I've learned how insurance works, like that insurance brain, sitting and kind of watching Dante, even the techs, account executives, like I've been able to like piece how this system works. And then I find myself like, if there's a new guy, I'm explaining to him like how a policy works and how it relates to this and that, and like I kind of get it. And it was literally just because I sat and I shadowed you. I think that's like such an important part, and it's gonna really like coexist well with like my time in the risk management, which I'm gonna start in fall.
Yeah. So in the beginning of your internship, I remember we were talking about it, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna do this major. I'm not totally sure." Do you think that attitude has changed a little bit after your time here?
Oh, for sure. I realize like how lucky I am to find something that I like to do, and I like to do it like I found it early. And now it's kind of like, well, I have this great top 5 in the U.S. for program that I can take. And now I have this intern experience at 18 years old with one of the best agencies, some of the best people at what they do work here. And if I combine them and I just keep working hard for the next couple of years, I mean, who knows like where I could be, like what type of clients, like, what type of money and things like that, just like a lot of potential. So I feel like a lot more confident in like the major choice that I'm gonna make in fall.
Great. And then as we're beginning to wrap this up, you've steadily taken on more difficult, more complex work throughout your time here. You have a few weeks left. What is something that you want to be able to do before you leave?
I want to be able to do. Let me think about this. How I would word this. The process that you have as a producer, right? To find a prospect, figure out what they need, how you can help them, quote them, then work with your team, and then get that bound. That whole like process, I want to be able to not maybe do it myself, but to be like a critical part in like at least one account, like from beginning to end, like kind of to help get that customer quote. Talk to an underwriter, a broker, get it bound. Like that process, if I could at least help with one account, I'll be completely satisfied. It'll be like one small step into a bunch of bigger leaps for me.
Yeah, awesome. And we had that one we discussed a little bit earlier, and I think that we should be able to take that one through that entire life cycle before you go out, and it'll give you a nice little frame of reference when you return to the program. You have context, and then, hey, if you come back for future summers, which I'm sure you will, you'll be able to start where you left off. And that's where I got a lot of value. My first summer interning was more shadowing, was more just kind of learning the landscape, a year of college courses in that field. By the time I started my next summer, didn't only pick up where I left off, but I picked up even further, because now you have more background knowledge. And when you're learning, you're applying what you did here to what you're learning in school and those concepts. It's making it real. It's not just numbers on a paper. You're like, hey, where would I see this? Where would I run into it? How could I apply it? And then you also have everyone you met here, mentors you have here. It's not like we just disappear when you go back to school.
Right.
It's you still have access to us. We'll still help. We'll still give feedback and advice. And I think it'll be useful for you personally. I think you're a step ahead of almost everybody. I didn't know of anybody in my program that started interning as young as you. I was really young. I started at 19. You're even earlier than that, which is super exciting. And I don't know, the future looks very bright to me. I do plan on getting up there for a football game sometime in fall.
No, bro.
So we'll check in on you up in Tally and check it out. Hopefully we're performing a little bit better. Fingers are crossed. Hasn't been great lately.
It's been rough. It's been rough,
but
we're hoping for a good fall. All right, we're hoping for a good fall.
Good fall.
Right?
Good fall.
And Jack hasn't seen the last of me. Hopefully not.
All right. On that note, that's a wrap.
All right.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man.